RV, the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show that takes you really through a little more than the next week. Takes you through February the 8th, starting today. And I got to tell you, when you drove in here for setting things up about an hour and a half ago. It's pretty tough to see the building that we're doing the show in because there are so many vehicles to drive through right now. I mean, you can take your pick. Take your pick of any one of these RVs, boats, pontoon boats. I mean, if there's a reason to have a vehicle here, they've got it, and they've got anything you're looking for, including us, and some food, some pizzas, some wings that are on the way. Lots of drinks, and should be a good time, along with some sports talk. So it's good to be with you today, Ty, because this is also a day that we were anticipating when the tear rolled down the cheek a couple of days ago, as your last day officially as a co-host on Halftime, as you make the move to the Morning Rush on Monday. So that makes this a little bit of a nostalgic afternoon too.
I think so, yeah. And it was emotional this morning with John obviously doing his last show, and then I
heard there was some choking up.
There was. John is not typically an emotional guy for the most part, but I think that shows what Tommy has meant to him as a GM and as a boss. But more than that, Tommy's a friend to not only John but Phil and I as well. And so it was a really hard thing for John to do, but you could tell he was really thankful for his time here and just the friendship that he shared with Tommy and all of us. So, I mean, I'll see him, obviously, at Razorback games and when I make my way down to Little Rock to see the fam and stuff like that. So it's not like he's moving out of the country or anything, but he won't be working with us anymore. So it's definitely going to be a different vibe around the station. We'll miss him for sure.
So that puts – man, there's going to be some heavy pressure on you for carrying a morning show now, 6 in the morning. That's right. No sleep.
Tommy's back's going to be hurting by the end of next week.
Well, I mean, I guess my shoulders will be hurting too for the foreseeable future. I can't have you to carry this show anymore, so it puts a little more pressure on me and maybe everybody at the station. That's not such a bad thing, though, right?
Builds character.
It's right to build to have pressure put on you either by somebody else or by yourself. And how you respond to it, that definitely shows character. I don't know if it builds it necessarily, but it definitely shows that character.
And we'll announce our new employee sooner than later, who's going to be doing the midday show along with you and Matty T. Really excited. I know that you and Matty T, prior to him coming to work here, you guys had a private relationship. I always like to say that you guys are kindred spirits in kind of how you go about thinking things. And
well, the way that we're kindred is that we both have a deep love for Weird Al Yankovic. So we have to make sure. That's right, Matt. Matt and I have to make sure that we don't turn this into a 2-hour Weird Al show. We do. Been pushing for the third hour for a while now. Maybe 2 hours of Weird Al and 1 hour of sports per day. See? Here we go.
I forgot about that. You did tell us that. I remember that.
See, that is a kindred spirit.
Yeah,
that's right. We don't have to like the same teams or care about sports too much. It's okay.
And at least for the next 2 weeks, when it's just you, me, and him on. So Matt is like the movie aficionado of not only Halftime in the Morning Rush, but just our station itself. So when you give me a movie or TV show or an SNL skit or something to watch, he knows what that is. I don't.
Yeah,
so
I don't think I'm teaching Matt much about pop culture.
Yeah.
I think it could be the other way around. But, maybe I could teach some more baseball terms because you're leaving for the Morning Rush without ever taking a true final exam on these baseball terms.
And I never played RBI baseball either, which I need to play at some point.
I need you to play NHL 94 Sega. You ever hear about this one?
I played Sega, but I haven't played NHL 94.
It's an iconic video game. That's exactly what they're playing in Swingers. See? There you go. Pop culture and sports come crashing together.
Let me actually toot my own horn. That is Vince Vaughn, and that is Director of Environment, John Favreau.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
So,
see? This is good. You're
learning
learning things as we go along
time.
here. NHL 94 is probably the most popular sports game, I would say, outside of Madden. And the one from 94 still lives today. Like, they have tournaments of guys that are playing the same video game they were playing literally 25 years ago on their couches for 13 hours straight without moving, even for bathroom breaks.
It's that fun?
Either that or you had something else going on that kept you in the couch. Okay? And the video game, just kind of gave you something to focus on other than just staring at the wall.
Oh, man. I was watching Matt, have you seen PCU? with Jeremy Piven?
I haven't. I remember seeing the box in the video store, but
Okay.
I didn't have my mic in program, so nobody heard all the amazing
brats.
things I was saying.
Okay. So, Matty T, you mentioned doing something for 13 hours a day. Matt, that's a movie you need to watch. It's got Jeremy Piven. I couldn't tell you any of the other actors.
I know this one, yeah.
You do know this one? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a part in the movie where one of the seniors who's in the house is like, he's doing his thesis on that if you turn on the TV at any point in the day, is it a Gene Hackman or whatever movie, he's like, you can turn it on the TV and find one of these actors in a movie at this point of the day.
This is true about Gene Hackman.
Did you know Gene Hackman turned 90 years old?
He turned 90 yesterday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hoosier's 45 years old?
1987.
So
So
less
that would
than
be that'd be like 32 years.
Yeah, 32. Way less than that.
Norman
13
Dale,
years.
greatest coach in movie history, probably. At least flawed. I mean, so flawed that he was like a real person.
Yeah. It's a pretty good illustration.
Yeah, and the Gene Hackman movies are always on. They're always on. I mean, they still are. I saw Enemy of the State like 2 weeks ago.
That's with him and Will Smith,
With
right?
Will Smith,
I have
exactly
not seen
right.
that yet. That's
Oh,
on
yeah.
my.
I saw that in the theater.
That's on my Matty T. That's on my my list that Phil's.
You've got a
given me.
long list.
Yeah, it's like it's at 70 plus.
There's
now.
long lists. There's lots of them. There's lots of them on this little iPad here. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts today. We will be previewing Arkansas basketball. Hogs take on Alabama tomorrow. They leave tonight. Take on the Crimson Tide at 5. It is an SEC network telecast tomorrow, and our broadcast here on ESPN Arkansas affiliates begin at 4:30 with the Learfield IMG pregame show. I think that's going to be a really interesting game for numerous reasons. One, you got the team that shoots more three-pointers than any other team in any of the, what are we calling the top leagues in college basketball now? The Power Six, I think?
Yeah, it's typically referred to as
The
Power
Super Six. Can we go with the
Super Six.
alliteration?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Alabama takes more threes than any other school in the Super Six. I feel like I got to put like the Dick Vitale Super
Six
on it, no matter if you like him or not. And then Arkansas, which still defends the three better than anybody in the country. So strength against strength, right? They like to say something's got to give there.
I heard Clay Henry talking about it in the Morning Rush this morning, the analytics aspect and the ideals that Nate Oates comes from, who's the former Buffalo coach, now coaching Alabama, how statistically you're scoring more points when you're launching more threes and stuff. So it's kind of – and I know Eric Musselman's teams in the past in Nevada, they chucked a bunch of threes, but they were a lot more efficient behind the three-point line. This team so far this season has not been great in that area, and I think he really stressed that in the post-game presser and the presser leading up to Alabama when he was talking yesterday, that this team doesn't need to shoot as many threes. I think he's going to rely and hope this team gets more to the rack when they're facing the Crimson Tide on Saturday. And we're going to talk about this next segment. You might not be at full strength tomorrow, which could be tough going on the road to Alabama.
Well, who else? Because we all know about Isaiah Joe's injury. Eric Musselman did touch on a couple of others. There's one thing I also want to bring up here. You use the term chuck for a team that's throwing up too many threes. So I think there's a difference between chucking up a three and looking for the three, right? The chucking it up is settling for it. And you feel that's what Arkansas was doing a little bit too much against South Carolina. That was the case with last year's edition of Arkansas basketball, too. There's a little bit too much chucking it up, settling for the three, last moment shot, couldn't get a better look, wouldn't drive. You know, this isn't a team that is built around the three-pointer, but they do chuck up some threes. Alabama's built around the three, you know, so maybe if you can keep them from getting the look they want, forcing Alabama to start chucking them up, so to speak. Although I'll say this, like they chucked up 33s against LSU, getting knocked off the floor by LSU.
By
in
like
fact.
14 or 16, yeah. That
LSU
game.
scored 90 in that ball game, but that's not a team in LSU that's going to chuck up threes. You know how many threes LSU hit where they scored 90 points the other day? 3. They scored 9 points on three-pointers. Everything else, twos and free throws.
They just charge the glass, man. It's a tenacity that they played with this season. Arkansas, unfortunately, saw it firsthand.
877-377-6963 to be on the show, or come out and see us. We're at Crabtree RV in Alma, celebrating the start of the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show. Halftime continues right after this break.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crab.
Starting for the first time on Monday, Tommy is actually going to have a co-host with better hair than him. Tommy, your thoughts on that?
And it's going to be a big show, Ty. We got the Super Bowl, the Hogs on the road at Alabama. Monday's going to be a big show you don't want to miss.
It's an all-new Morning Rush, Monday, coming at you at 6 a.m.
Don't miss The Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here with a better way to drive at Rath Auto Resources. New year, new you? That's a lot of pressure. How about new year, new ride? Now we can make that happen. Just resolve to start driving better in the Rath Road Ready vehicle that's perfect for you, like a 2018 Toyota Corolla LE or 2018 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Your choice, just $14,993, and make no payments till spring. If you're like me and your holiday was sponsored by your credit card, that should give you more breathing room than losing a pant size. Waiting on a tax refund? Ask one of our non-commissioned solution specialists how you can use your W-2 to start driving better now. If you're keeping your current ride, our Meineke Car Care Center is there to make sure your car outlasts that new gym membership with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and a basic oil change for only $24.95. Start driving better today with no payments till spring at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information. Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
What does that mean?
It means they are the best of the best.
Okay.
It means that Jody'sAuto.com was voted by the people that deal with them,
their customers,
as best at first getting the car in one of their 3 shops quickly, finding out what was wrong with it, fixing it right the first time, and charging the customers a fair price for the repairs.
Getting it in, getting it out quickly at a fair price. Huh.
Real simple. Jody'sAuto.com. Best of the best.
Jody'sAuto.com. One stop for the best tire brands at the best prices, price match guarantee, and these folks know tires. 3 oil change specials. One stop for all services, all repairs, all maintenance, towing, and fleets. 3 locations, 2 in Fort Smith and 1 in Van Buren. When you have made up your mind to live by 3 words, do what's right, being voted by your customers best of the best is quite an honor. Convenience and trust since 1984. Jody'sAuto.com, best of the best.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey,
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Joe keeps possession, 5 to shoot, needs some help, away to Sills. Desi finds Witt, Jimmy to the basket, shot no good. Bailey with a follow as the shot clock expired. They count the bucket.
We are live and kicking off the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show here at Crabtree RV in Alma, right off the freeway. Take you through February the 8th. Crabtree also inviting Wheeler Power Sports, Kofor Marine, Alma Tractor, Golf Cars of Fort Smith, and Jelco Clothing and Outdoors. They're all here as well, showing off their wares. We are inside the main showroom, because that's really what this feels like. This is a showroom. This is not just a spot to come in and look. You can actually hang out in here. And I got to say, for somebody like me, Ty, who travels so much and really home is where I lay my head, right? Which would have been Tuscaloosa 2 nights ago, and then last night Fayetteville. Tonight Fayetteville 2, Little Rock at some point next week. I feel like I could get out of Alma with one of these beauties and turn it into my home, it's perfect for a gypsy like me.
You're a gypsy now.
That's really what I feel like.
Well, yeah, I was traveling all the time. I mean, why not?
Why not?
Why not? And plus, not to mention another reason to come out here is the food, because they have smoked some delicious wings, smoked sausage. We also got some pizza from the pizza place that's close to us here in Alma. It's 108 Highway 71 North. You can give them a call at 479-632-0770, and it's home of the 3 large special. You get 3 large pizzas for only $28 one topping, so not a bad deal there. And I'm looking at this piece right now, wanting to chow down. But
can I just say, Ty was so hungry he would have eaten the wings before they were pulled off the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. So and it's, I know that's not a pretty picture to paint. All right, Arkansas and Alabama tomorrow. Arkansas really hasn't been at full strength, I think, since the end of the Ole Miss game, because I mean this goes along with depth. If anybody is injured or playing injured, there isn't anybody else to paper over that injury, so to speak. And a theme for the last couple of days has been that Arkansas might be a better team with Isaiah Joe sitting if he's not at 100%. But it turns out that there might be some other injuries you're dealing with. You saw Desi Sills go off the floor against South Carolina with what – I mean, that was a weird-looking injury.
I thought it was a knee at first, and I was scared out of it because I've done that. I've torn my ACL before, and my buddy from Rogers, he in a similar situation, he had an outlet pass, and he caught it like on his side, and his knee buckled and tore his ACL in there and a couple other things, and that looked very similar. Jalen Harris outletted quickly, and Desi wasn't expected. He caught it weird. He's like kind of catching it on his side. That's what I thought. Luckily, and I say luckily because it's still an injury, but it's a sprained ankle's a lot better than an ACL or MCL or something.
When I saw it and the way that he went down, I thought, that looked like an Achilles, which I mean that could be
that's even worse.
That could
be
one of the worst that you end up suffering for a basketball. So I mean, he did come back and play later, made some really pretty tough plays, driving and ones,
couple and ones,
even after the injury. So I mean, he might have been playing at that point on energy and endorphins and just because sometimes those injuries, you don't really feel them that much until the next day.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example of that. 1988 Game 6 of the NBA Finals, Isaiah Thomas sprains his ankle back, comes down on, I think, Michael Cooper's foot, and it's just hobbling. Like his things start swelling up, and it's like the size of a bowling ball, and he guts it out the rest of the game. They ended up losing the game, losing that Finals in Game 7, but that's one of like the greatest displays I've ever seen off a sprained ankle. But those, man, they're tough and they don't go away easily, and it's hard. They don't subside when you keep playing on it. So that's gonna be tough for Desi. I'm assuming he's gonna play tomorrow, but it's gonna be tough to kind of gut through. We'll see if he can do it.
And now apparently Jimmy Witt dealing with something as well. So I mean, Jimmy's been, I think, the MVP of this team. Really wasn't able to get much room to operate in the paint against Carolina. Alabama doesn't have that quite size, though they're a pretty good rebounding team. And, I mean, let's face it, almost every team is going to be more physical than Arkansas is, so it's just a little bit more of the same. But I think where you worry about Witt more than anything is defensively, if he can continue to provide that energy defensively, that face guarding. I mean, that he's been doing pretty much, against the best scorer for every opponent. I mean, that he's going to be on. Now, who do you put Witt on? Because either Lewis or Petty are two really good three-point shooters. Petty's their ace at 47%, but is their second leading scorer at 16 points. I mean, this Alabama team kind of has a Batman and Robin thing going on with their top two scorers.
And Lewis is kind of the scat point guard that Eric Musselman's going to have a tough time scouting tomorrow just because of how quick he is. He talked about that yesterday, just his potential off the bounce and stuff. So you hope that they can contain him best. But like you mentioned, his presence isn't going to only be missed on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well, because that's really where he's made his mark so far on this Arkansas basketball team. And I think it's pretty consensus that he's been the most consistent player this year. We had Eddie call in talking about, and that was the one you and me were kind of like looking at each other. It's like, Jimmy Witt's been pretty consistent all year.
I think Eddie was looking for someone to scream at.
Yeah, and I understand. I mean,
it's
you got
okay,
three straight conference losses. You haven't played necessarily your best in those last 3 games, but I think Jimmy Witt's been a guy, and you got to remember, he's exerting so much energy on defense. He can't put up 20-something every night. Sometimes he's just going to be the defensive stopper. Sometimes he's just going to be the guy that stonewalls the other team's best player, and you got to be okay with that because of how much time, how much effort he's spending on the other end. There's very few players who can be consistent on both ends of the floor. Like, you think about like Kawhi Leonard. One of the reasons Kawhi Leonard is so good is because he is such a good two-way player. But there's not many of them, Phil, that can not take plays off, that can just consistently be that type of defender and offensive force throughout the game. It's very seldom seen, not only in college basketball, but NBA as well.
So Isaiah seemed limited. Shots not fallen. Hasn't been able to drive and hasn't been a plus defensively like I think he has been when he's been fully healthy. He's been one of the better defenders for this team. Sills, who is, all heart, all energy, all speed, this seems to me a guy that if he's got a bum ankle or if it's not feeling great, that could really limit some of the things that turn Desi into a special player at times. And for Witt, I mean, here's my question. These are your three of your main guards. It's not like you have the deepest team anyway. You're pretty much down to about 8 players that you're dressing. And if Joe's not healthy to play, that's 7. Like, you beat TCU with 7 players. So where's the guard play coming from at that point?
That's a good question. I mean, you got Jalen Harris and is going to have to play extensive minutes in this game. And Eric Musselman mentioned there's probably going to be a starting lineup change as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of question marks heading in tomorrow. This is not, I think, at this point in conference play, this is not the situation or team you kind of expected based on the start of non-con and based on how it looked early on, but the way the conference is shaking out. And that's mainly because of the quality of teams that you played lately. It's been different. I know you had that lapse when you lost to Kentucky, and then you beat Ole Miss, and then came back and done this. But it's a difficult stretch right now. Not necessarily. I know you got Auburn next Tuesday. That's going to be a really tough game, even though it's at home. But Arkansas's got to find a way to group together and come through and kind of persevere through some of these kind of nagging injuries a little bit. It's not like you're dealing with a guy that's out for the season or anything. That would be just extremely detrimental for this basketball team. But these things happen. You got to be able to play through it if you can, and then Eric Musselman and his staff, they got a game plan around it, even though their options are limited, Phil.
So, I mean, we talked about pressure in the first part of the show. You're facing pressure taking over a morning show. We at the radio station have just some new roles to learn and all of that. And part of that is really, the pressure that you put on yourself.
Yeah.
For whatever it is you feel you've got to do to help your company, or in this case, your team, succeed. Arkansas has lost back-to-back games once this year. And we made the biggest deal about it and focused on that Eric Musselman had never lost 3 games in a row in a college career. Alabama it's not a bad team.
No.
This is a team that I think probably on the right day could beat anybody in this conference.
Prior to
anybody
LSU,
in the
they had
country.
4 straight wins. So, and again, it's at home. We know how important home field advantage is in college basketball, and Arkansas has shown at this season that they're not the same team on the road as they are at home. Now, obviously, they have the win at Indiana, which they can hold high and mighty, but you got to be able to go in and get a crucial conference road win, Phil. It's not like you're going into Lexington and playing Kentucky. You're going to right next door to Auburn and playing Auburn out, the Tigers.
Well, they've got a better record than Arkansas does in the conference, 4-3 to the Razorbacks 3-4. They lit up Mississippi State, the same Mississippi State team that Arkansas could not control at all about Reggie Perry. 90-69, they hammered them in Tuscaloosa. They also beat Auburn by 19. That's one of the other better teams in the SEC.
So the 2 caveats I'll give you on that. I don't think Nick Weatherspoon was playing in that game to that point. I think he was still suspended. Don't hold me to that, but that might have been one of the games that he was still suspended If not, then my argument's kind of flawed there. Rivalry games are just tough because it's just like sometimes it doesn't matter the quality of the other team. It's a rivalry game, so you kind of have to throw stats and stuff out the window.
So you're throwing asterisks on these wins,
I'm
but
trying
they still
to.
happen.
Yeah, they still happen.
They still happened. There's a team that can light it up. They are the 5th highest scoring team in the country at 82.5 points per game. This most definitely is a losable game for Arkansas. Not being at 100% strength-wise with 3 of your better players, guys that you need in that backcourt, it might not be the best prognosis if we are forced to make a prediction on the score for tomorrow. So, again, that'll be tomorrow, Arkansas, Alabama. Then Arkansas hosts Auburn next week. So you do have a couple of tough games here back-to-back. 5 o'clock tip tomorrow. All right, we've got Aaron Torres from Fox Sports Radio and the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast coming up after the break. We'll take a deep dive inside college basketball and get AT's thoughts on Sunday's Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch a single play. Stay tuned.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
This is Mark Hurst. How important is your smile? I recently read a study that said 61% of adults are attracted to someone by their smile alone. Another said that 48% of adults have untagged themselves from a photo on Facebook because of their smile. At Hurst Family Dental Care, we want you to be proud of your smile. Give us a call at 474-1972 and let us talk to you about improving your smile with cosmetic dentistry options ranging from in-office bleaching to braces to porcelain crowns and veneers. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
The Winter Upgrade Event is your perfect time to get cool seasonal savings and exceptional factory incentives at Road Chevrolet. Like a new 20 Chevy Equinox front-wheel drive LT as low as $25,708, or save up to $14,000 on a new 19 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT at Road Chevrolet, conveniently located at exit 2A off I-540 in Van Buren, or roadchevy.com. Chevy, find new roads. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. See dealer for details. Expires 2/3/20.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. Indeed will also give you this sticky frog, which will suddenly leap and stick to the face of the perfect hire. Okay, there's no sticky frog. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Make Valentine's weekend special for you and your wife, girlfriend, or family by making reservations now at Doe's Eat Place in Fort Smith. Enjoy award-winning steaks and atmosphere, along with delicious appetizers and the region's largest selection of wines, beers, and liquors. Doe's Eat Place is your premier steakhouse in Fort Smith and the River Valley, located at 422 North 3rd Street. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday. Make Valentine's a memorable experience this year at Doe's Eat Place.
At Sprint, we know how much you depend on your phone. So when you've got a cracked screen, it's the worst. We get it and we want to help you. It doesn't matter if you have Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Just drop by a Sprint repair store and we will fix your eligible Android cracked screen for just $49. Seriously, you don't even need to switch. See, we're doing things differently. It doesn't matter which carrier you use, Sprint will fix your eligible Android cracked screen for just $49. Whether you dropped it and chipped the corner while taking a selfie, or even if your 2-year-old shattered the whole screen, Sprint will repair it. That's a pretty great deal for a less than great situation. So, what are you waiting for? Visit sprint.com/fixmyscreen and visit a Sprint repair store near you, now until February 9th.
Requires eligible Galaxy phone and working condition. Not all screens are repairable. Same-day service not guaranteed. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Not combinable with insurance claims. Restrictions apply.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Hogs need a bucket here. Joe drives the baseline and the basket, throws it down with a left hand. Wow! Isaiah Joe with the offhand. We hadn't seen that. No.
Back here on Halftime, ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. We are live at Crabtree RV in Alma, kicking off the first day of the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show. All right, Aaron Torres joining us here on our hotline right now. AT, you ever thought about going camping in an RV? Because I'm feeling like I want to walk off the lot with one of these things. You ever RV'd before?
Listen, guys, I can't think about anything RV related. When I got the news that the band is breaking up, I felt like I'm a little young. I wasn't around, but it felt like the day the Beatles broke up. That's really what it felt like when I heard.
Ty just learned.
What happened, guys?
Ty just learned on Wednesday, by the way.
His salary demands again. I heard his salary demands are too much. Is that the truth? Is that what happened?
Well, I couldn't deal with somebody who didn't know who Yoko Ono was, and he just learned who that was on Wednesday. So that's the reason it broke up.
Well, I get it. Listen, you have standards, Phil. I respect that.
I know. No, he's taking over the morning show. He's moving up in the world. He's graduating from doing this little midday show. He's getting more ears.
It's called failing upwards, AT.
That's right.
Well, listen, I'm proud of both of you guys. Yeah, you're the Lane Kiffin of sports radio time. I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, man, I don't know if this is the last show all three of us are doing together. I love coming on with you guys. And Ty, best of luck in your new spot. Phil, I hope you'll still have me. That's all I really got. That's it.
See, what matters right there, Ty, is that Aaron said he's staying on this show. Yeah. We're gonna have to fight to have AT on our different shows here. Hey, Aaron, we kind of found it funny, and I know you do. You've got wide-ranging topics, both in your podcast and on Fox Sports Radio. Ty and I realized as we sat down to do the show today, we have done 8.5 hours of sports radio this week, and have barely mentioned the Super Bowl. It's been Kobe, it's been thoughts on remembering him, it's been college basketball, it's been the Razorbacks, and barely at all about the Super Bowl. Have you noticed that, at least for you? I mean, is the Super Bowl kind of like fallen a little bit into the background this week?
Yeah, it really has. And it's really funny. I was actually thinking the same thing, and I've heard, different radio shows kind of hit on this topic. And it was funny because I went to the gym this morning and I was driving home, and I heard the audio from after the AFC Championship game when Travis Kelce said, "You got to fight for your right to party on the field." I don't know if you remember that. And it felt like that happened like 6 months ago. It doesn't feel like it was 10 days ago or 12 days ago or whatever it was now. I don't know if it was because of the Kobe stuff, and obviously that was insanely tragic, and I know you guys did a great job covering that. I don't know if it's that I feel like no storylines kind of came out of this week. I don't know if we like both teams, and there's the hate factor isn't there because the Patriots or whomever aren't there. But I'm with you guys. I just feel like I get it. It's a thing that's definitely happening, but it doesn't feel like even the conversations. Tua had some comments this morning from Radio Row, on and on and on, but it doesn't feel like the conversation is on the games itself.
Talking with Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio, Kentucky Sports Radio, also Aaron Torres Sports Podcast here on Halftime. AT, I know you had a great guest this week in Jalen Smith, former Notre Dame linebacker and current Dallas Cowboy. So Arkansas is going to South Bend this year. When you look at Notre Dame, I know they were at one point one of the biggest national brands in college football, and I know that Colin Cowherd, one of your colleagues, doesn't think that they are still a national brand. Do you still consider them a top 5, top 10 national brand in college football, man?
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate you plugging that, Ty. I know because there's a lot of Cowboys fans in your guys' area. I encourage people to check out the podcast. I got about 15 minutes with him via phone. He was on Radio Row in Miami, and he was awesome. And it was cool because we talked about that injury. I mean, he is the reason that people sit out bowl games now. He said he'd do it all over again. To answer your question, I certainly think it's a top 10 brand in college football. Now, is it a top 10 program? Is it a top 10 contender? I don't know. It's tough because I can argue both sides in the fact that played for a national championship in 2012, played in a playoff. There just aren't that many teams that have even made a playoff, let alone played for a national championship in the last decade. But listen, I think it's fair to say that, like most programs in college football, the gap even between that team in the potential playoff, as a potential playoff team, and actually being good enough to win a national championship, it's sizable. It's sizable. And I mean, there are good programs. Oklahoma is in that boat. Penn State is in that boat. Up until this year, LSU was in that boat. Georgia, Florida, etc. I do still think Notre Dame's a top 10 brand. I'll be fascinated. I will say, we as a society and in college sports, we always are looking for the next thing. I do think Brian Kelly is about as good as Notre Dame can do in this era, getting them to that top echelon. He hasn't gotten them over the top. I'll be fascinated to see if they can get over the top in the next couple of years, but I do think they're a great brand, and I think he's actually done a pretty good job there, all things considering.
AT, let's switch it back to basketball for a sec. I know you weren't a huge fan of the officiating in the Arkansas-South Carolina game on Wednesday night. When the SEC office sees the statistics in that game, 70-plus free throws, 57 fouls called, not missed calls. Some of them were probably missed calls. What's your take on that, and what does the SEC have to do moving forward so that doesn't happen again in one of the conference games?
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, I've seen a lot of national guys kind of talk about the officiating. I mean, Jay Billis can't go 2 seconds in a broadcast without criticizing officiating. You know, I think time more than a regional thing because officials kind of, they're independent contractors and they work for multiple conferences, multiple games a week, et cetera. I think it has to be a national thing. And it's funny because I saw some real criticism of the new block charge kind of call rule in place. I actually liked it. I thought it was actually doing what it was supposed to do. And now I watch these games and I haven't seen it called in probably 3 or 4 weeks. And so what that says to me is, again, it's just, it seems as though for whatever reason, we put in new rules, we change new rules. Every refereeing, group has its own agenda or its own way of calling games. I just think it has to be more kind of a universal, national kind of way of doing things. And you're right, man. It was a huge game. I mean, that game could have big implications for Arkansas as we get down the stretch here. And that's one that shouldn't have been decided by the officials. I'm not trying to discredit South Carolina. I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win, but you would have liked to see the players on the court. And maybe they didn't deserve to win. I'm just not saying that it was 100% taking away from South Carolina. But you hate to see the officials have such a big impact on that game where players couldn't play. And obviously, look, you know, I know about the sellouts in Arkansas. We're all paying consumers in one way or the other. You go to games, you pay for cable, you buy merchandise, you support your program, whatever. We just want to see a good product on the floor. We just want to see the team that we feel is the best team win the game. And too many times this year, the refs have kind of gotten in the way of that.
Aaron, we got on the air with you, I think, last Friday, just a moment or so after the news had broken about Khalil Whitney leaving Kentucky midway through his freshman year. But this was a kid that I think was supposed to be a first-round pick in this NBA draft coming up at the start of the college season, but it hasn't worked out for him very much. What did you make of him announcing this midway through his first season, because it just felt a little bit odd?
Yeah, it was interesting, Phil. I did talk about this a little on my podcast as well, because Wisconsin actually this week had one of their leading scorers decided to leave as well. Every situation is different. I will say two things. One, I hate this idea, and I'm watching a game right now from last night where somebody said, well, don't blame these kids because the coaches, John Beilein left last offseason. There's a big difference between leaving in the offseason when the season is done, whether it's via transfer as a player, whether it's leaving as an assistant coach or as a head coach, and leaving in the middle of the season in conference play. To me, listen, I'm old school. I'd like to see people start what they finish. I'm not saying if you go to a school, you have to stay there 4 years, but I remember there were times in sports when I was a kid, and maybe I'm old man, get off my lawn, where it wasn't working with a coach, blah, 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 whatever. And my parents would always tell me, you got to finish the season. You don't have to, if you don't want to play next year, that's completely different, but you got to finish the season. And so even in college athletics now, it feels like there's a nice window in basketball and really, frankly, football too, where after the first semester, if it's just not for you, if it's just not working out, that's a time to step away. Your team has time to regroup. As we know, there's not many games during Christmas, during the New Year. And then you go into the New Year, you get a fresh start, whatever. What I've had a problem with Khalil Whitney at Kentucky, Kobe King at Wisconsin, is the idea of stepping away from your team in the middle of league play 3-4 weeks after the semester ends and the new one begins. I don't like that. Maybe there are, bigger issues. Obviously I know mental health is a big thing. We had a player step away from Ohio State yesterday because of mental health. If you really feel like mentally you're just not in a stable place, I get that. But if it's just about, playing time or you're not happy or blah, 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 whatever, like I said, I feel like there's a right and a wrong way to do it. And I do feel like in some cases kids are handling things wrong.
AT, we got to run. Appreciate you, man.
I know.
All right.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.
Later, buddy. Torres from Fox Sports Radio and Kentucky Sports Radio. All right, halftime continues right after this quick break.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. We love it when a new year rolls around. It's a clean slate and a chance to start over. Who doesn't love that? We want to help you make 2020 your year. Come in, share your goals with us, and we'll help you achieve them. Not only do we have the best running products, but we have the know-how, the connections, and events to get you started and keep you going. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the fun happenings at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Howdy, folks. Colonel Sanders here for KFC's $20 fill-ups. There's so much food and so many ways to feed your family, choosing between 3 buckets might be hard. Okay, let's begin. A, 8 pieces of original recipe chicken. B, 8 pieces of extra crispy chicken. C, 12 extra crispy tenders. Think of it as a delicious multiple-choice test you can't fail. It also comes with 2 large mashed taters, large coleslaw, and 4 biscuits. Now choose your $20 fill-up and get it delivered or to KFC. It's finger-licking good. Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Tax extra. Delivery service and additional fees apply.
At Sprint, we know how much you depend on your phone. So when you've got a cracked screen, it's the worst. We get it and we want to help you. It doesn't matter if you have Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Just drop by a Sprint repair store and we will fix your eligible Android cracked screen for just $49. Seriously, you don't even need to switch. See, we're doing things differently. It doesn't matter which carrier you use, Sprint will fix your eligible Android cracked screen for just $49. Whether you dropped it and chipped the corner while taking a selfie, or even if your 2-year-old shattered the whole screen, Sprint will repair it. That's a pretty great deal for a less than great situation. So, what are you waiting for? Visit sprint.com/fixmyscreen and visit a Sprint repair store near you, now until February 9th.
Requires eligible Galaxy phone and working condition. Not all screens are repairable. Same-day service not guaranteed. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Not combinable with insurance claims. Restrictions apply.
The big end of the hunting season sale is underway at Jelco Outdoors. Deer hunters and duck hunters, you can bag some huge savings right now at Jelco Outdoors while they last. Save on clothing, footwear, waders, decoys, scents, rifles, shotguns, bows, crossbows, and lots of accessory items for all your deer and duck hunting trips. Don't miss the end of season sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more. Serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414. And for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. Or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Out of the shotgun now as Cornelius comes into the backfield here for second and goal. And they give him the ball. Cornelius scores it. What a call.
Rolling along on this. It is a football Friday. I feel like it's more a basketball Friday because we've been talking Arkansas, Alabama. Tomorrow, we are live at the start of the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show at Crabtree RV in Alma. Some of the boat brands I got here: Malibu, Triton, Low, Axis, all sorts of golf carts, 2-seaters, 4-seaters. Lots of vehicles are on the lot here. Great deals to be found, and we're talking with Danielle here from Crabtree. Danielle, hi. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, thanks for having me, guys.
This is a pretty big week over here at Crabtree, and I told Ty, for my lifestyle, for always moving around, for always traveling, this would be like the week I would be out here to be purchasing something to live in for a while. You got all sorts of things that I could live in.
Yeah, of course. We have, travel trailers. We have fifth wheels. We have something to suit everybody's needs.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing that you got here on the lot? If you could take one customer over to this thing and say, this is the thing I want you to buy, and you know that they will, what are you taking them to?
Grand Design for sure. But
what about it?
They're just a really great company. They have, really great warranties, and they're awesome. I like everything about the units, so.
I need to work at one of these places so that I could actually go experience. It's like, if you work at a restaurant, you gotta taste the food and know what it's like when people are asking you questions about it. So I'm going to guess here, Danielle, that you've probably RV'd before, so that you've experienced what it's like to be in these things.
Yeah, of course. I've done it a few times for sure.
And what's your favorite thing about doing it?
I just think being out in nature and being able to, just kind of travel and just kind of get a sense of the outdoors. It's just awesome. While
still having the regular creature comforts of regular human life, right?
Yeah, I don't really like the tent anymore. I think I like having a bathroom and a shower, so.
We're live here at Crabtree RV here with Danielle. Danielle, so do you have a spot? Like Phil and I, like when you think of like kind of granolas type stuff to do when you're going hiking, you're going fishing or whatever, you pick out a destination, like you just settle on a particular area. Like, is there a place around here outside of Arkansas? Where do you like to go specifically?
I like to travel all over, but I like up by like Lake Eufaula and stuff like that.
So what makes that part unique? Like, why do you like specifically going there?
Well, I'm from Oklahoma, so
okay.
that helps.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's just beautiful up there.
So is it one of those things where you started working and getting more into it? Did you grow up doing it? Like, how did this come about, basically?
Actually, I just started here, and then I really loved, the atmosphere of this place. Like, it's just kind of family-oriented, and they really kind of taught me a lot. And so, I don't know, now I just enjoy it. I love talking about the units and all these trailers that we have, and just really the customers are really awesome, too.
How long have you worked at Crabtree?
Only about 4 or 5 months.
Okay. I mean, this has a great feel of a place to hang out, right? It's not just, this isn't a warehouse. This is a showroom.
No, of course. Yeah, we really like to make people feel like they're at home when they're here and really just kind of take time and, have some fun and find something that works for you.
Favorite outdoor activity when you do go on a trip?
Favorite outdoor activity? Probably canoeing. I like canoeing, kayaking. Hiking,
good.
Pretty much anything.
Is there a pretty good spot up there at Lake if I could say it? Lake
Eufaula.
Yeah. Stumble over my words.
So pick a team. You're a girl from Oklahoma. Who's your team?
The Cowboys.
It's
I'm
okay
sorry.
to admit. I know some Oklahoma State fans here. It's all right. Yeah. You're not the only one, though. You might feel like it.
I don't think there's Arkansas fans that hate. My aunt went there, and I love going to Stillwater.
Yeah.
So you're cool with me.
Sweet.
So,
Danielle, thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, of course. And if any customers, want to come down here, just ask for me when you get here, and I'll show you around.
That's right. Danielle will show you around here at Crabtree RV, right off the exit 13 in Alma. And again, you're going to zigzag your way through a whole lot of vehicles. I think they've got, I forget the number that Lee J told me they have on the lot here. Lee, how many vehicles was it? 150. 150 vehicles, and they're not small ones. They're larger. So again, it's a little bit difficult to see the building. But when you see all of the RVs kind of spread out here off exit 13, you'll know exactly where you are.
And Phil, I asked Phil if he wanted to do a little shooting contest. They got a blow-up basketball unit outside, and Phil's not really up to doing that, but they got a couple inflatables out.
Well, it's misting outside. I mean, it's just a little bit slippery.
Be a man. It's okay. You can persevere through it. So, and then also, again, we haven't mentioned this yet. We also have some Catfish Kitchen gift cards, some Jerry Neal's barbecue gift cards down there. So if you guys stop by, check out a few themes down here at Crabtree RV. You might walk away with one of those as well, Phil.
All right, I was with the women's basketball team last night and I thought this was an impressive first half defensively. They held Alabama to 11 points in the first half, 7 in the first quarter, 4 points in the second quarter. I will say this: it's not like Arkansas played their prettiest game. For a moment there, it was like plucking your eyelashes out. That was the sort of game it was. But you got to win those games. Not every game is going to be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Not every game is going to be a thing of art or a thing of beauty. I think Utah probably would have enjoyed last night because you're one of those guys that likes to say that you like to watch defense, right? Defense was on full display yesterday. Lowest point total for Arkansas's women's team in a win, 66. Alabama scored 98 on Sunday against Vanderbilt, and Arkansas holds them 50 points fewer. So they won with defense, and this is an Arkansas basketball team that wins with offense. So they did it the other way around yesterday.
Phil, did you say conference play lowest point total or overall for Arkansas women's basketball?
This is the second lowest point total allowed for the year, fewest in conference.
So, for 66, it's not bad, right?
No.
66-48
is nice. But again, I thought that was an impressive defensive performance, and then I look at halftime around the SEC, and Ole Miss just miss. For 19 minutes against South Carolina, Ole Miss's women's basketball team did not score. They end up getting a bucket in the last minute of the first half. And it was, according to ESPN Stats and Info, the lowest point total in a half in the history of Division I basketball for men or for women. 2 points.
That's absurd.
That's an SEC team.
I know.
That's incredible.
And I know. Don Staley is a tremendous coach, and South Carolina has had great basketball teams under her watch. But to manage only 2 points and a half, it's pretty underwhelming, to say the least, Phil.
87-32 was the final score
gracious.
there. 18-0 at the end of the first.
Is that 55-point differential?
That is. That's good math, my friend.
Good gosh.
That's, wow, I can't wait for Arkansas to play against Ole Miss in women's basketball. Might actually put up 100 against that team. I thought that was an impressive win. Turned out that there were others that were even more defensively impressive. Arkansas's women's team 17-4, 5-3 in the SEC. They play Mizzou 4 o'clock Sunday, and that's the reason I alluded to it. That's the reason why I'm not going to be able to watch the Super Bowl. Maybe not even a single play, to be honest, because we've got the SEC office scheduled Arkansas-Mizzou for 4 o'clock Sunday so that it would be on the SEC network. And apparently they're not allowed to change their mind on this. So
can they not push it up 2 hours?
No, I don't think they can. This is a prime example of conference scheduling specifically for television purposes and only TV purposes.
What?
Because they need this 2-hour window for a live telecast on the SEC network when like 99% of sports-related program is geared towards the Super Bowl. And women's basketball plays on Sundays. This has been something that's happened for years, but it's just kind of crazy. Now, I'm not complaining. I don't really care if I watch the Super Bowl this year or not. I'll see the highlights. I'll watch everything I've got to watch. If the Steelers were playing in it, I'd quit. I'd quit today and ask for my job back on Monday. That would be the end of it because you're not missing your team's Super Bowl for any reason, right?
I know the league's offense, their priorities are not in line with what other fans are watching 24/7. I know that comes into some calculation when they're divvy out the season, but I don't know what's on 2 hours before that, but I feel like, Phil, that it shouldn't be that complicated to move it 2 hours up, right?
I guess so. Because I think there's a 2 o'clock broadcast scheduled already, and then 4 o'clock.
How many shares How many shares do you think the Super Bowl is going to get, percentage-wise? It's going to be absurd.
It's always the highest-rated show of the year. Always.
And so that being said,
but this is also Columbia, Missouri. What is it, 2 hours away from Kansas City? There are Chiefs fans that are playing for Mizzou.
Well, you should have started a petition because that always works. You should have had.
Well, then Mike Neighbors
would
have strangled me. No, he doesn't. He wants the game at 4:00 because he knows nobody's going to be there. There'll be absolutely no atmosphere whatsoever inside Mizzou Arena.
If it was moved up to hour, 2 hours is probably not going to be.
I think in his mind, maybe he feels like Mizzou. And look, I don't think Arkansas needs a rescheduling to beat Mizzou. Their basketball team this year is not so good, but it's like a little distraction for them, something to complain about with some of these players' team in the Super Bowl. I mean, I would imagine there are some of the girls on that team whose favorite athlete right now might be Patrick Mahomes. And they won't even be able to watch it. The first Super Bowl in Kansas City plays in 50 years, and they're going to miss it.
I will be at Drake Smith at Pinnacle Telecom's house for that. We got a big football game. I tried to. He's got some scheduling stuff on Sunday. I tried to get Tommy. My buddies actually texted me, "Can Tommy come rep our flag football game on Sunday?" But he's got some scheduling conflicts, so I'll have that on Sunday, and then head over to Drake from Pinnacle Telecom, so we'll watch that. I'm really excited. This will be my first kind of invited sporting event here in Fort Smith from buddies I just made up here, so it'll be fun.
Just imagine you walking into the morning rush on Monday with a cast in your ankle.
I don't think Tommy wants that. Maybe
or
I can play
a broken nose.
Try to play quarterback so I don't have to move as much. I got a decent arm. It's not great, but
877-377-6963. Come out and see us. We're at Crabtree RV in Alma for the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show, and we'll be back for the second hour of halftime after this.
B&J Comfort Solutions provides home comfort and energy solutions to the River Valley, specializing in residential sales, service, and installation, offering only the absolute best customer service around. Call them for any of your service, maintenance, or replacement needs. B&J Comfort Solutions offer an industry-leading 5-year labor warranty on all new system installations. Veteran-owned and operated, and satisfaction is always guaranteed. Contact B&J Comfort Solutions today at 479-646-0284.
New Bud Light Seltzer, huh?
Yep.
And it tastes like a hard seltzer, not a beer?
Yep.
So it's light and refreshing?
Yep.
With a hint of fruit flavor?
Yep.
And 100 calories?
Yep.
You said this is Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
Well, I need to try it.
Yep.
Oh, that tastes great.
Yep.
Now, wait, are you just yupping me?
Nope.
Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Well, another decade has come and gone, and the year 2020 is here to stay a bit. Why not start another year with a brand new IP phone system from Pinnacle Telecom? And better yet, how about if it costs you nothing on the front end? That's right. To celebrate a new decade, Pinnacle Telecom will waive the installation costs for all cloud-based hosted IP phone systems. Voicemail to email, music on hold, auto attendant, and a ton of other features included. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com or give us a call, 479-242-0000.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Stuck with the clouds tonight. A few stray showers across the south will drop down in the low to mid 30s overnight. Little patchy fog early Friday. Otherwise, cloudy skies are high in the low 50s. And then sunshine returns on Saturday. Low 50s north, upper 50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Rhodes Chevrolet. Find new roads. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime. Coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
You guys are awesome, baby. You have these guys, ESPN in Arkansas. They do a good job.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love
Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Good afternoon to the dynamic duo. I think Clay named that right. Fellas, I just want you to know I've enjoyed this show. Y'all took it from scratch. I heard your first show, and you've turned it into my favorite show.
Jones for the win. He got it. He got it. He got it. Mason Jones banks in a 3 with 0.1 seconds to play.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Oh, last hour of the week, at least for this sports radio show. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson here.
Other people have to work, Phil.
Maddie T in the studios. Rita was here with us. She's our salesperson, set us up here today. And she was celebrating Friday, coming in here. And I'm thinking, what exactly does that mean? I think Friday means different things for different people. So I asked Rita, what does that mean for you? Oh, hanging out, sleep in a little bit, have a nice weekend, watch a little sports perhaps on TV, certainly the Super Bowl. Sounded like a relaxing weekend. Weekends are anything but relaxing for a lot of other people who have to transport kids back and forth from this game to that game, set up play dates, those who cover sports for a living. Weekends are where it's at. That's when all the games are played. So nothing about this weekend's going to be relaxing. But, okay, that's not a complaint. That's just a fact of the matter that we're going to be moving around. In fact, I head to Columbia, Missouri tomorrow for Arkansas-Mizzou basketball Sunday. Ty's all busy, certainly getting set for his Morning Rush re-debut. It'll look like you just crushed your finger at the same time.
Yeah, did that a little bit. So, but no, it's gonna be a busy weekend for me as well. I've just got to do some house stuff around the station, kind of get prepped for Monday, and obviously your weekends, kind of like you're talking about, are anything but relaxing because your weekends are when you have a lot of your work, Phil, and you do your radio show during the week, and then it picks up right when baseball season starts. It's boom, boom, boom.
14 days away.
Going.
14 days away. There are only 2 Fridays left before Arkansas baseball begins, and one of those Fridays is this Friday, right now, the one we're living through.
Yeah, it's people are excited, man. I saw Pete Roulier wrote an article talking about it. There's pressure on Casey Martin and Heston Kjerstad on Hog Sports. I thought that was kind of interesting because there is. I mean, they're now their 3rd season. I think there's a lot of people that expect them to be back in Omaha, and I know really how Casey trailed off at the end of last season because he just couldn't stay off the breaking pitches and the off-speed ones. And the coaches, the scouts, the pitchers, they're going to be paying attention to that. So he's just going to have to go about it a different way than he did towards the end of last year, and hopefully he'll respond, and hopefully they'll end back up in Omaha again, man.
Well, and I think part of the pressure that the two of them feel is the pressure that any Major League Baseball prospect has to feel that junior season of college. And even for those kids who are sophomore eligible for the draft, they still know they've got that extra year of leeway to use for negotiation tactics. It's that junior season where the pressure really hits, and you'll hear, and I'm sure they feel the pressure of being a leader on the team and everything, but I think within the team concept of whatever team baseball is, and a lot of it is just about how guys get along and attitude and clubhouse, throw clubhouse politics aside, I think they're pretty comfortable in their roles on the team specifically.
Yeah.
It is interesting that neither, and it's not, I don't mean this to denigrate either Casey or Heston, they're not voted as the team captains because they're not leaders in that sense of being a captain. And I think picking Casey Opitz is a pretty easy choice. When your catcher has that sort of leadership
swag
attitude to him, it's a good thing. He's really good at keeping people loose. That's partially what baseball leadership is about. And I think the fact that Kevin Kopp's the only senior on the team is also one of the 2 team captains says something. But I think the pressure that Casey and Heston feel are that, I remember a year ago we were talking, and I think I even asked Casey about it. There are people thinking that you could be the top overall pick in the Major League Draft. And that's a year before he was even eligible for it. So, there is that kind of pressure. I don't know if it's necessary to like live up to that billing, or the thought that now you have your chance to maximize your earning potential for that one moment that you actually get to earn as a minor league player when you are drafted and you get that big bonus.
Signing bonus,
So
yeah.
that's part of the pressure too. And you'll see some players just don't have good junior years because they're playing for the scouts instead of playing for the guys who are their teammates. And you get a little bigger than you should. You expand your zone a little bit much. You try to hit the ball a little. Everybody wants to hit the ball hard, but you try to hit an eight-run homer every time you come up. More than the pressure to play for this team now, I think they would feel the pressure of what's expected of them come June in draft time.
Was it Jake Mangum, the Mississippi State kid that stayed an additional year there? Everyone
Right.
was just like shocked, like, why are you doing this?
Right.
Because he's like, because I want to win a College World Series. I want to win a title. Now, they came up short, but I think he's always going to have a seat at the table in Starkville. He's always going to have a job in Starkville wherever he goes because the admiration and respect that people had for him doing that. But like you've talked about many times, it's just when you lose the negotiating ground from college baseball, when you go from junior, you could still go back to being a senior. You have no negotiating power like you've talked about. But I think is that one
other than to just say, I'm just going to take my ball and go home.
Yeah.
And it's not like the scouting directors are going to flinch.
So, pressure-wise, talking about that, do you think, and this is a different type of pressure, with the basketball team, how they started out non-conference, how they were picked 11th in the preseason, how they really got up to a hot start, 11-1 at one point, do you think that the pressure's gotten to this team a little bit in terms of the expectations initially being NIT and then flipping in the NCAA tournament like that? And now, they're not on the outside looking in, but they're definitely, another loss or two, they're going to be that way,
Yeah,
Phil.
I don't know if it's a matter of I wouldn't put losing to South Carolina or Kentucky on the pressure. I put it on the reality of what you have on this team right now, and maybe, expectations of the team in October were different than they were at the start of January when you had that great start to the non-conference and everything that.
We need to say this real quick. The expectations of the fans,
right,
us, and everything.
That's what I'm talking about.
They may have set forth their expectations in the locker rooms like, we're going to the NCAA tournament, make it or break it. But at least our expectations, I think, have changed since the season began.
Yeah, there's the pressure you put on yourself. There's the pressure that you allow to be put on you, whether by your coach or by your teammates or by a fan base. And I don't know how easy it is to shut out the excitement of a fan base that was at a frenzy pitch before that Kentucky game, and I don't think it's died down at all. But I think what might be, it's not that it's difficult to understand it because I feel like this fan base is smart about this year's team. They understand they're undermanned. It's well understood by Arkansas basketball fans that this year's team is small, size-wise and depth-wise. That you have to have good performances from just about everybody to beat the good teams in the SEC. But there is the reality of what you have right in front of you here, which is an undermanned team that is small going up against the Southeastern Conference. Mm-hmm. It works against even the best teams in the Ohio Valley Conference, in the MVC, in Conference USA, out of the Sun Belt. It's different going up against the Southeastern Conference, and that's why it's okay if this team does finish 500 or 2 games above 500.
That's
in
still
that case,
ahead of where they were initially picked.
Much well ahead of where you would have thought they'd finish, although not matching, I think, what Eric Musselman expected out of this team. And I think a lot of us snickered a little bit and thought you're just pumping up the guys who were here that first day on the job when he told them, I think this is an NCAA tournament team as it's constructed. He might have been the only guy who believed it. But here you are in the day before February, and now it's almost like it's expected, right? Which is a little bit unfair.
I know Lenardi still has Arkansas in. Most bracketologists still have Arkansas in. Again, this is an opportunity for them this weekend. They're not solidly out. They're pretty solidly in at this point. You just can't drop these next couple of games. And the fact that you have 3 straight conference losses, you tend to weigh a little bit. You tend to doubts creep in. It's just how it is. Not only the fans, but even the coaches a little bit and the players. There might be measures of doubt. Obviously, the degrees between fans, players, and coaches. But it's time to respond. It's time to get a W on the road, and it's time to play one of your best basketball games in the year, even if you're undermanned, potentially with Jimmy Witt, Desi Sills, and Isaiah Joe. Even they don't even have to be necessarily just out, but they're still not going to be, it looks like, 100% come Saturday, Phil.
You know, I think it's a good thing after back-to-back Saturdays with sellouts, frenzy pace against Kentucky, you know, big deal playing against the team out of the other conference in the Big 12. I think it's a good thing to go on the road now and have those road rules that Mike Neighbors talks about. Know that, you need to play a little bit better than you've been playing at home to pull out a victory at Alabama. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Great place to watch the Razorback game tomorrow at 906 Garrison Avenue. You can enjoy great food, wings, jumbo roasted with honey bacon, jam, chicken pyro, and Cubana, and, of course, what makes them famous, top-shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, and the most popular brands of cigars available in the state. That's 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Halftime back after this quick
You're
break.
Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crab.
Starting for the first time on Monday, Tommy's actually going to have a co-host with better hair than him. Tommy, your thoughts on that?
And it's going to be a big show, Ty. We got the Super Bowl, the Hogs on the road at Alabama. Monday's going to be a big show you don't want to miss.
It's an all-new Morning Rush, Monday, coming at you at 6 a.m.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
The Winter Upgrade Event is your perfect time to get cool seasonal savings and exceptional factory incentives at Road Chevrolet. Like a new 20 Chevy Equinox front-wheel drive LT as low as $25,708, or save up to $14,000 on a new 19 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT at Road Chevrolet, conveniently located at exit 2A off I-540 in Van Buren, or roadchevy.com. Chevy, find new roads. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. See dealer for details. Expires 2/3/20.
The big end of the hunting season sale is underway at Jelco Outdoors. Deer hunters and duck hunters, you can bag some huge savings right now at Jelco Outdoors while they last. Save on clothing, footwear, waders, decoys, scents, rifles, shotguns, bows, crossbows, and lots of accessory items for all your deer and duck hunting trips. Don't miss the end of season sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hey, grounds guys.
Hey, what?
Y'all did such a great job on cleaning all the leaves from my yard, but I noticed y'all were pressure washing my neighbor's driveway. Y'all do that too?
Absolutely. Amy, the Grounds Guys is a full-service lawn and landscape company. We do leaf removal, gutter cleaning, power washing, and many other outdoor projects. At the Grounds Guys, we want your full lawn and landscape looking its best all year long. Call the Grounds Guys at 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-4897. And say,
hey, Grounds Guys.
And get $25 off any fall or winter service. The Grounds Guys, serving Northwest Arkansas.
2020 annual tickets are available at Ben Guerin Golf Course. 18-hole green fees as low as $11.66 per round on a regular unlimited plan. And seniors, juniors, and veterans can play as low as $10.58 per round on the same plan. 18-hole green fee with cart as low as $22.50 per round on an unlimited plan with cart. And seniors, juniors, and veterans can play as low as $20.83 on the same plan. Book your corporate and charitable outings now at Ben Guerin Golf Course.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child and custody, DHS matters, and more, serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414, and for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560, or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
This is Mark Hurst. How important is your smile? I recently read a study that said 61% of adults are attracted to someone by their smile alone. Another said that 48% of adults have untagged themselves from a photo on Facebook because of their smile. At Hurst Family Dental Care, we want you to be proud of your smile. Give us a call at 474-1972 and let us talk to you about improving your smile with cosmetic dentistry options ranging from in-office bleaching to braces to porcelain crowns and veneers. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Baseline drive. Sills feeds Joe left corner. Step back. 3 on the way from Isaiah. Perfect. Nothing but the bottom for Joe. And the Hawks are up 45-28.
I've been saying he's the best shooter in the country.
Folks starting to filter in here to Crabtree RV in Alma. Day 1 of the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show. Takes you through February the 8th. Brand new travel trailer starting at just $118 a month. Brand new fifth wheel starting at $289 per month. New Holland tractors out here, Bad Boy mowers on display, Kawasaki ATVs, Polaris side-by-sides, Suzuki four-wheelers, and lots going on here at Crabtree RV in Alma. 70th anniversary, and what better way to celebrate it than by hosting the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show today through February the 8th. All right, Phil Elson, Ty Richardson, Matty T back in the control room. 877-377-6963 is your number for calls or for texts. All right, some things we hadn't gotten to involving Arkansas football recruiting. Lost out on Brandon Frazier, the former tight end commit. Nicky told us pretty much on Tuesday that he was going to go to Auburn, and he announced it yesterday. The Chad Morris connection was too much.
Too much. So you lose out on him. Obviously, the tight end room is still pretty scarce at this point. You got to add someone in this recruiting cycle because you can't play a college football season with 2 tight ends on the roster. That's just not going to work. So they're going to need to add someone. I still think Alan Horace is still out there where he hasn't committed yet. You got to make some moves. Obviously, Sam Pittman and his staff are probably working tirelessly to get that done, but that's a position in need right now for the Arkansas football team.
So
Phil.
Arkansas had gotten some commits and even a flip the weekend before, but over the last few days, you lost out on some guys that you were either hoping to get recommitted in Frazier or flip, as in Conway's Robert Scott, who made his commitment to Florida State. You're also hoping about Jalen St. John. I saw that he is taking another visit inside the SEC. He had canceled the visit elsewhere, but is going to be looking at a different school, but he's still on Arkansas's radar. Speaking of cancellations, Malik Hornsby, the quarterback target out of Missouri City, Texas, who he had been committed to Baylor when Rule was the coach. Is that correct?
Correct. No. Hold on.
He'd been recruited heavily.
Committed to North Carolina.
Okay.
Decommitted after Criswell. And then looked like he was going to Baylor. Rule leaves to take the Carolina job. And then now canceled his official to Baylor. I'm not saying he's sold, but it seems like based on the recruiting people you talked to, it looks like Arkansas might end up landing this kid.
He was at Arkansas recently for an official visit, right?
Yes, it was
one of the big basketball games.
Yeah, it was one of the big weekends. So, which is huge. I mean, you needed grad transfer. You got in Felipe Franks. You needed a freshman again. He hasn't signed yet, so it's not 100%. But it really seems like, based on what Nicky and Danny and other people say, that he's going to end up in an Arkansas uniform in 2020, which is huge because this kid, there's a highlight going around on Twitter, y'all, that if you do have Twitter, if not, for the older folk kind of listening, just type in Malik Hornsby on YouTube or Google or something, where he's just got some jets, man. He's just flying past his some high school opponent, and it is just beautiful to watch. And I know people are saying that's RG3 Junior that's running up and down, which is obviously a lofty comparison considering the guy
won RG the fourth.
Yeah, considering the guy won a Heisman Trophy at Baylor University. But, man, I think our Arkansas fans are excited. You got to give Sam Pittman and his staff credit. Kendall Briles, Barry Odom, everyone else, they have been working tirelessly. Though they live on the golf course at the links, they haven't been playing golf. They've been working for you.
It's funny, too, because you think, that guy lives on the golf course, so that you can't ever get him to stop playing golf. Yeah. I bet those guys are not playing a single round.
I bet you some of them have some nice clubs, too, but they realize how important it is to get this next recruiting class. Again, this is a class, y'all, that started outside the top 100 when Sam Pittman got here. It's since been inside the top 50 on 24/7 Sports. Unbelievable. Phil's looking up the Rivals rankings right now, but I know it's
54.
54 on Rivals. I think it's 47 on 24/7. So give him credit, man. And Hornsby, obviously, he's a 3-star on Rivals. He's a 4-star on 24/7. So he'll up that ranking as well. And, I mean, there's potential for this to be a complete class considering where you started. Unbelievable job, man. Unbelievable
Nick, you thought
job.
21 to 22 perhaps commits or signees by the end of next Wednesday. Arkansas is still in the vicinity in the rankings of Pitt and Vanderbilt and UCF, and second lowest recruiting ranking in the SEC according to Rivals, behind Vanderbilt and Ole Miss. But still, I mean, to get 16 and possibly up to 22 signees just to refill the locker room, so to speak.
Yeah. And again, there's some talent in there. We've talked about the skill position players. You just got to improve the trenches. Like, this is Chad Morris. One of the reasons he failed is because he tried to build outside in. In the SEC, as good as the defensive and offensive line are on both sides of the football, you got to go inside out. You got to get some big boys up front on both sides of the football in order to compete in this conference, or you're just going to get run over like this team did the last 2 seasons.
Well, do you think you want to recruit a chief of staff? Whatever this thing is that Miami is doing, it's an interesting title because now athletic departments are inventing positions for famous alumni. I mean, it's different for Reed than like a Matthew McConaughey,
Minister of Culture,
who's just the Minister of Culture at Texas, which, by the way, if they gave him, and maybe they do, give him a business card, it's got to say Minister of Culture. I think that's his official title.
And he's a professor as well. I'm forgetting the class he teaches down there in Austin, but he's also a professor. And apparently that class and Mike Leach's old class are the 2 hardest classes to get into in the country.
Is Leach teaching at Mississippi State?
I don't know.
How can he not?
He was asked.
That's really the reason he's brought there, is to grow their enrollment. And what better way than to advertise Mike Leach teaching a crazy class?
I forget what interview. It might have been Feinbaum or something. Maybe it was Lebatard. Yeah, actually it was Lebatard, because he was asking him, hey, like you do outside of the box stuff, what do you do? And he's like, he told him, I have so much going on with the football team, the football program recruiting. I just don't have time to sink my teeth into anything right now. But there is potential, and I think the Starkville students will love to see his name wind up on their core curriculum book and potential to be teaching an extracurricular class, Phil. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, it's too bad I might have to miss the baseball series at Mississippi State, because otherwise, and that's assuming, and I hope it's the case, that Arkansas women's basketball is playing in the NCAA tournament, because the weekend that tournament starts is the weekend SEC regular season baseball begins, and Arkansas visits New Duty Noble Field, and I would make a beeline for Mike Leach's office to get him on this very show, and I bet you we could do an hour with him without ever bringing up football. I would guarantee we could pull that off. We probably would have to put an extra filter on, by the way, so that certain things don't get
dump
said.
button ready and all that stuff ready.
But what do you make of this chief of staff thing? Because, I mean, Ed Reed is a number of things to Miami. He could be maybe their greatest player ever. I mean, that's putting it out there.
So good.
There have been a lot of great players that came through Miami. Reed would be near the top of the list.
Not only that,
but
the NFL too.
Michael Irvin and with Warren Sapp, I think Reed is right there with the rest of them, if not ahead. He's well respected. He is still connected to the U, and I don't exactly know what chief of staff means, because in this case, I view the chief of staff as like for a governor or the president. Like, this is the person who controls the schedule, who controls where the president is at what time, and is kind of like the boss over everybody else. This is not what Ed Reed is coming in to do. I know they're saying, like, what did the statement from Miami say? As chief of staff, Reed will serve in an advisory role to Manny Diaz in all aspects of the football program, including strategic planning, quality control, operations, player evaluation, player development according to the university's release. Also provide assistance in team building, student-athlete mentorship, and recruiting as permissible under NCAA rules. And it almost sounds like he's an associate head coach.
Yeah.
This sounds like a chief of staff, the guy that makes sure everything else is in order so that the governor can do his job.
So I knew when this story came out that John and Tommy were going to talk about it. And when they talked about it on the Morning Rush, I think Tommy said Jerry Jones for Arkansas football. John, I knew it was going to be John Daly because I love John Daly too. I knew it was going to be that. But I'm thinking we could split this up into 3 majors: Arkansas football, Arkansas basketball, and Arkansas baseball. And for me, I think, and I loved Houston Nutt's pregame speeches.
By the way, we already know who the director of culture is, who the minister of culture at Arkansas is. Remember, it's John Daly. Okay,
yeah.
He's the minister of culture for every sport at Arkansas. So now you need a chief of staff for each sport. Okay,
because
you've got your cigarettes, you've got your beer, you've got your plaid pants for your culture. Now you just need other things, sport by sport.
The addition to it, yeah.
Oh, I know. By the way, you got your great drives and legendary tournament wins and outstanding personality.
Tommy mentioned this morning. He has. I didn't even know he had 2 majors. I had no idea about that.
Maddie, could you push that generational gap button for a quick moment, please? There's a lot of people around the country who might not have even known where Arkansas was located if not for John Daly's win, and I forget the year at the British Open when he was an alternate. I mean, like the 9th alternate or something.
Is that when he had the blonde mustache and the long mullet?
This is one of the greatest rags to riches stories ever because of Daly's win at the British Open. I don't remember the exact year or what alternate he was, but that's how he got catapulted onto the world stage.
There's a great picture that I got sent a couple months back of him and Tiger and a couple other guys as youngins at the Texarkana Golf Club. Have you seen that picture?
No.
I need to show it to you at the break. It's absolutely incredible.
All right, we're brought to you by The Fence Man, and if you own a business that needs more security or needs more curb appeal, call 479-782-3936. That's The Fence Man. Ask for Henry. They've got a fence that can give you both. They specialize in custom installations and been doing it for over 40 years. Things like gates, controlled access card readers, and much more. That's The Fence Man. They can come for a no-obligations quote. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man's a division of Quantum Property Services.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio.
The 2019s must go. Save up to $15,000 now at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. 2019 Ford Expedition with the all-new body style. Now $15,000 off. 2019 Ford Escapes, only $24,230. And 2019 Ford F-150 4x4s, over $10,000 off. The 2019s must go. Up to $15,000 off at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Make Valentine's weekend special for you and your wife, girlfriend, or family by making reservations now at Doe's Eat Place in Fort Smith. Enjoy award-winning steaks and atmosphere, along with delicious appetizers and the region's largest selection of wines, beers, and liquors. Doe's Eat Place is your premier steakhouse in Fort Smith and the River Valley, located at 422 North 3rd Street. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday. Make Valentine's a memorable experience this year at Doe's Eat Place.
Hey, it's Flo with a super weird word, nightgown. If you ask me, it sounds less like clothes you wear to bed and more like things you say to your clothes. Good night, capri pants, sleep tight sweaters, nightgown. We've got a big day tomorrow. Now a weird word I just made up, flotection. It sounds like great protection for your new home through me and Progressive, and that's because it is. I said good night, capri pants, go to sleep.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
So, how many trucks?
3 one-ton diesels, 7 half-tons, trailers, chippers, then some smaller trucks, cars, and SUVs.
And who takes care of them?
Shoot, we go all over. Have no clue even if they're getting the proper oil or if the wheel bearings on the trailers are ever checked. Total miss.
And how much is that fleet worth?
To me, a lot.
Jody'sAuto.com can do all the service, repairs, maintenance, and tires, gas and diesel, get you in and out quickly at fleet pricing, and track all your vehicles to make sure everything is being done when it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, but my guys want someplace close to them. That's why we go all over the place.
Did I mention Jody'sAuto.com has 3 locations, 2 in Fort Smith and 1 in Van Buren?
Now we are talking. Jody'sAuto.com. Great idea.
The difference between making money and losing your shirt, taking care of your equipment, and keeping your people on the job. Jody'sAuto.com, they can handle it. Gas and diesel, tires, service, repairs, maintenance, towing, in and out quickly. Jody'sAuto.com.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Sills jump stop. Harris cuts, feeds. Cheney for a throwdown. Harris with a nice feed. He gets the assist. Cheney with the bucket. The Hawks are up by 15 again.
Still got some time left to come out here and visit with me and with Ty at Crabtree RV in Alma, celebrating their 70th anniversary as they open up the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show today through February the 8th. So if you can't make it out today, and it isn't the prettiest day, but it is a good day to be shopping here at Crabtree. They'll take you through next Saturday. So make your plans. They've got a great deal for you on travel trailers, fifth wheels, tractors, mowers, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, all kinds of different boats, speed boats, pontoon boats. I see something back here that I could take water skiing on any of the lakes, Ty.
Man, I've been water skiing.
It's been a minute.
My dad used to slalom ski. That was his thing to do. And he was very good at it, surprisingly.
The single ski?
Yeah.
I learned how to do that in Montana, 1998. One of the women that I worked with for a minor league baseball team, she and her husband, keep in mind, wide open spaces, right? In Montana.
Open spaces.
So they had their own, they built their own lake. I guess I would call it like a big pond, pool or a big pond, which was specifically they would rent out for water skiing competitions, and they taught us
in Montana,
me and the coaching staff on a day off they're apparently it's not moose that are water skiing, real people do it in Montana too, so they taught us how to ski on a single ski, which took a little bit of time. Definitely have some water go up my nose. But it was fun. It was fun, especially when you start getting up.
So I think I transitioned to wakeboarding as I got older. That's most of my buddies. And have you ever wake surfed?
No.
Okay, so wake surfing is also really fun because there's these new boats. I guess they're not that new because I started doing it when I was in like high school and late middle school, where it builds a wake in the back where you can ride.
Oh,
it.
I've seen videos.
It's really fun. So I don't think I went to the lake last year because of just started working and stuff. But it's a very fun time, and I haven't wakeboarded in a while. In fact, we were talking about going on a ski trip. We went to Breck a few years back. We were talking about going again, and I think I want to try snowboarding. I couldn't ski as well as I could when I was a kid last time, and I'm like scared with my knee. So I've heard that snowboarding is better on your knees. So I think if we do end up going sometime this year, I want to try snowboarding out for the first time.
This is all based upon this football game you're playing in Sunday, that you don't injure yourself terribly.
You're going to jinx it. Stop talking about it.
I'm telling you, you want to believe with me that there are no such things as jinxes, okay? It's okay. And
so if I get injured,
I did admit to Mike Neighbors in the postgame yesterday that I said I cost Amber Ramirez a free throw. I mentioned she hadn't missed one yet today. She missed the next one. That's all right. But then he also did let everybody on the broadcast know that I beat him twice at darts. I wasn't going to bring it up on his own basketball broadcast, but he's the one who did it.
That's a man of integrity right there, Mike Neighbors.
That is. Now he's going to crush me tomorrow when we go to Columbia.
Yeah, you're gonna pay. He's gonna come out with the same intensity that you hope you see from the Arkansas basketball team tomorrow.
Could tomorrow's game really come down to the thing that everybody thinks about with these two teams, with Arkansas defense, 3-point defense, Alabama offense, 3-point offense specifically? I mean, Alabama, they are 0-3 when they score fewer than 72 points.
And coincidentally, Arkansas is 13-0 when they hold opponents to 72 points or less.
Interesting.
The straw that stirs the drink, if I could talk. That's the second time.
That's Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. Jeez.
Alabama is 5-8 when they allow 73 points or more. So maybe it's not necessarily a matter of what they score. What about the fact that when Alabama allows fewer than 73 points, they are 7-0. So it might be up to Arkansas to get above 73 points. Now, admittedly, Bama statistically is a bad defensive team. In fact, they have the highest scoring defense in the SEC. 329th is their national rank, as opponents are averaging 77.3 points per ball game. But they counter that by scoring so many darn points, 82.5. Bama averages, so they've taken 589 three-point shots out of a little more than 1,250 shots. So that's, I'm not going to put the calculations into it, but that's not far from like 45% of their shots being behind the arc. So they need to hit their threes to win games. They average 10.5 threes per game. That's 6th in the nation. And Arkansas, so all right, Alabama's hit I'm going with the number 8 here, okay, because 8 is the most three-pointers Arkansas has allowed in one game all year. That's amazing in this day and age of the three-pointer being so prevalent that the Hogs have allowed 8 for their season high. You know how many games Alabama has hit 8 three-pointers? They've played 20 games.
Over 10?
16.
Wow.
4 out of 20 games they've hit fewer than 8. And in 13 games they've hit 10. So this is like the ultimate immovable object against the irresistible force.
Yeah. So the old Joker line in The Dark Knight that often gets talked about again when you have a team that has really one strength against the team that has the other strength that conflict against each other. And again, it's going to come down to, we've talked about depth often with this team, but the depth's going to be even a bigger question mark heading into tomorrow, because if we talked about in the first hour, Jimmy Witt is questionable at this point. Something about a nerve in the back of his knee. Eric Musselman always talks about he's not a doctor, so it's hard for him to diagnose.
He
really
says that every press
time.
conference now.
So,
but he's going to be asked about the injury, so he might as well have a sign there that just says, "I am not a doctor."
Yeah, Desi's ankle sprain from the South Carolina game, and then also Isaiah Joe, who's still dealing with a nagging injury of the knee inflammation. He had a brace on at the last game. I'm assuming he'll have the same for the next game. So you're not even at full strength when the depth's already a question mark. So it's just and Arkansas is not projected to win on KenPom, ESPN, and some other statistical websites. I think a lot of people are counting them out tomorrow's game. They're not going to be underdogs by 10 points or something tomorrow, but I think most people think that Alabama's probably going to win this game. It's time to show up and show out. You need to win this game tomorrow, otherwise you're going to be forced in a situation where you're 3-5 in conference play. You play one of the top 4 teams at your place come Tuesday. You got to find a way to win this game. And I know it's easier said than done, Phil.
Got to find a way to really, hit the mid-range jumper. This can't be a game where Arkansas gets into a battle of you hit a 3, I hit a 3, because Arkansas right now is not a consistent enough three-point shooting team. They just don't have enough three-point shooters to get into that sort of contest with a team like Alabama.
Yeah.
And when you are not worried about the three-pointer, as Arkansas clearly wasn't when they played TCU. Why? Because of no Isaiah Joe in the lineup. If they just – look, I know you have an open 3, take it. Let's not make that be what the offense is all about. This is, and I understand, look, some of your ball handlers might not be at their top, at their healthiest.
Their
Jimmy,
top performance,
Desi, Isaiah, Mason Jones is healthy, and you know he's going to take it to the hole. You got to find a way to find some penetration. If there's a pull-up available for you, take it, and then maybe the threes come after that. I don't want this to be a game where Arkansas has to knock down three-pointers. This is a game where they've got to be able to stop the three and get back to not waiting for Isaiah Joe to get hot. Somebody else has to take that pressure off of him. Somebody else has to take the offense onto their shoulders. I know Mason did it against South Carolina, but you needed somebody else to do it. This is not a team right now that, first of all, they didn't defend well enough. You need 2 scorers. And I know Zay gave you 16 points, but that was off 16 shots. And it was all behind the arc. You didn't relieve pressure from anyone else.
Yeah, and listen, when you have a better player on the floor and a guy that makes your job easier, you tend to rely on him a little more. But when you know it's all on you, like they did apparently in the morning leading up to that TCU game, there was a mentality heading into that game that they were the ones that had to do it. They had to get to the rack more. They had to get to the paint more. They had to dominate that ball game, not necessarily by shooting the 3, but by pushing the tempo and doing what they can inside the arc. And now we'll see again if Isaiah Joe plays tomorrow, assuming because he played this last game, he'll play in this game, but you never know. Arkansas they can't take as many threes. They're not efficient enough to take 26 threes, as Eric Musselman said, and win ball games. You got to find another way, and I know that it's sometimes difficult, and you get the pain of obviously taking it to the rack, getting fouls called, not getting fouls sometime, but you have to. This isn't going to be easy for Arkansas the rest of the way because they're limited offensively and they don't have any height. So you got to grit and grind. It's like that old Grizzly saying with the Memphis Grizzlies, grit, grind. That's gotta have to be the mentality of this team moving forward.
Bama is not a big team either. They don't have that big post player that really cements himself in the lane and creates problems for you. They got a couple of 6'9" forwards, but that's it. They also are dealing with some of the same issues Arkansas has, although they have a little more depth and a little bit more size. For me, Arkansas's got to create turnovers because that's one area Alabama is susceptible. They've committed the most turnovers in the SEC this year, have the second worst turnover margin, and of course that's where Arkansas has been the best in the SEC. But also you wonder if some of these injuries, some of the nagging injuries, filter into the defense too. We worry about how it affects them offensively. It can affect you defensively even worse. All right, cherry on the top of this Friday halftime next.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime.
The new year is here, and Art's Barbecue and Burgers is ready with healthy choices on their menu. Art's Barbecue and Burgers has smoked chicken that will melt in your mouth, a variety of salads to choose from, plus a grilled chicken breast that's always a smart option. And use the Waiter app to have the full menu at Art's Barbecue and Burgers brought to your home or business. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, giving you healthy choices to start the new year off right. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Aaron's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Well, another decade has come and gone, and the year 2020 is here to stay a bit. Why not start another year with a brand new IP phone system from Pinnacle Telecom? And better yet, how about if it cost you nothing on the front end? That's right. To celebrate a new decade, Pinnacle Telecom will waive the installation costs for all cloud-based hosted IP phone systems. Pair this system with Pinnacle's fast fiber internet, and your business is ready for the future. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com or give us a call today, 479-242-0000.
What's your family's security worth to you? Have you put off adding a security system to your home for another year? Or are you just waiting for someone to break in to be that final straw? Use your income tax return to add a security system to your home for as little as $495 and $15.95 a month. Guardtronic has a package to help secure your home. Call today for a free estimate, 479-785-2323, or visit the website, guardtronic.com. License EO50.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through cover drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. Indeed will also give you this sticky frog, which will suddenly leap and stick to the face of the perfect hire. Okay, there's no sticky frog. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
At Sprint, we know how much you depend on your phone. So when you've got a cracked screen, it's the worst. We get it and we want to help you. It doesn't matter if you have Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Just drop by a Sprint repair store and we will fix your eligible Android cracked screen for just $49. Seriously, you don't even need to switch. See, we're doing things differently. It doesn't matter which carrier you use, Sprint will fix your eligible Android cracked screen for just $49. Whether you dropped it and chipped the corner while taking a selfie, or even if your 2-year-old shattered the whole screen, Sprint will repair it. That's a pretty great deal for a less than great situation. So, what are you waiting for? Visit sprint.com/fixmyscreen and visit a Sprint repair store near you, now until February 9th.
Requires eligible Galaxy phone and working condition. Not all screens are repairable. Same-day service not guaranteed. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Not combinable with insurance claims. Restrictions apply.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
In to play, Jalen Harris gets inside, lays it up, high off the glass, he makes it with 5.9 to play. And now Kermit Davis and Ole Miss will take a timeout.
Halftime to close up shop here. You hear Kenny with us here. Kenny representing Crabtree RV, where we have been doing the show today for day one of the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show. Takes you through next Saturday. Kenny, it sounds like you want to do the interviewing here, though.
I don't know, man. You just let it roll.
Well, he said he was going to flip every question. I was going to ask him, what if you were to choose between getting a Saturday and you don't have to work, and you can go do anything that involves something that you would sell on this lot. I'm talking, if you had a chance to go fishing, or if you had a chance to go in a pontoon boat, or if you had a chance to go RV for the weekend. What are you choosing, Kenny? What are you selling yourself?
I would definitely take my truck and grab one of those side-by-sides over there and run for the money.
See, so it's a side-by-side because it's right on the side of your vehicle, right?
A little Turbo 1000 over there.
And you're going to go create some mud, right?
Absolutely.
And
try not
so
to
you're
wreck
one
it.
of those vehicles. You'll be one of those trucks that I see on the freeway that I'm driving next to, that looks like Godzilla just stepped on it with a muddy footprint.
Well, I have a black truck. It's more brown right now.
Okay, that's smart. You obviously knew what you were shopping for.
Yeah.
So, all right, I would take an RV. I would take an RV out for the weekend, and I would go, burn some sticks somewhere in a big circle and have fun with that.
These have fireplaces in them. You don't have to burn
There are
sticks.
fireplaces
Yeah,
in these,
you don't
too.
have to burn sticks anymore.
Wow. I mean, you want to talk about a step forward in life.
It's the 21st century, man.
Absolutely.
We got everything, dude.
He was going to ask me, what would you want to do? I'd want to go, burn sticks, watch sports, set fire to marshmallows, and eat them. That's it.
Outdoor satellite TV, you're set.
Sounds good. Sounds perfect. And one of the things I love about these RV units here is that you can cook on the inside or you can cook on the outside.
Yes, sir.
You got that grill ready for you, too.
There's a couple different ways to do that. You can get the outside LP hookup, or you got induction. You can do anything you want.
Whole 9 yards, man. All right, so Danielle Kenny was telling us about her favorite place because she said you follow a lake in Oklahoma. Where's your go-to spot here in Arkansas or surrounding areas?
I like Bird's Adventure Center.
Okay.
It's a pretty cool place. You can take off-road vehicles and camp out there. It's a great place for pretty much any activity that we got going on in here today.
I'm sensing you're into the off-roading more than anything.
Off-roading. I like to build and shoot guns also. That's a pretty good time.
Okay.
How many
you sound
times
like somebody I could go hang out with on the weekend. You can
Yeah.
teach me a few
Yeah, a little
things,
bit.
Kenny.
How many times you get your truck stuck in high school?
Well, depends on when and where, but there's certain probably a couple times.
Okay. Mine was once.
One time?
I had an old
Statute
90.
of limitations,
Yeah,
it
you're
So
good.
10
definitely
years ago, we
works
can't
here.
talk
He
about
started to hesitate a little bit. Like, you're good. It's
I noticed.
So, I remember getting mine stuck in a ditch. Luckily, we pulled it out. But based on your off-roading stuff you're talking about, seems like that'd be something.
Well, I'm from Iowa, so, we get a lot of snow up there, and so, getting stuck is quite regular.
What part in Iowa?
Iowa City.
Okay.
Yep.
All Hawkeyes, right?
Yep. George Kittle coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, big time game. So I have a buddy that's actually in dental school right now, and obviously he from Little Rock, went to school in Fayetteville. So I asked him, so what's it like, man? You enjoy it? Dude loves it. It loves it up there. And then we constantly see, and I was curious because he did not know a soul before moving up there except for one guy, our friend's brother, who's a freshman, and he's in dental school, so you're not really going to hang out with a freshman kid.
Kenny, I want to put you on the spot. Arkansas versus Iowa. Which state loves their pork products more?
Iowa is the #1 pork-producing state.
Do you hear that, Arkansans? Do you hear that? The gauntlet is being thrown down.
I think there's probably some Hawk fans that are still a little hesitated when it comes to eating bacon and stuff because they feel like it's one of their kin, Phil.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to do that.
A little different kind of pigs there.
Yeah.
Very much so, Kenny. You ever been to the Field of Dreams?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. There's a big game coming up there this year, an actual MLB game.
A real Major League Baseball game. That's right.
So I remember. So he
they got to build a real stadium for it because the
crazy.
field is tiny.
The tickets for it are going to be insane.
I bet we were talking about that a couple months ago because I remember you were as giddy as a little schoolgirl when they announced that. And
There's going to be a lot of schoolgirls at that game who are as giddy as me. That's the truth.
If you ever go there, it's
been there once.
Transcendental. It's really cool.
So that's obviously a Kevin Costner movie.
I went out and had a catch in the rain in that field. It was like, I don't care if there's a tornado and lightning hitting the field. I'm getting out there and I'm saying, Dad, you don't have a catch. I can't even get through it.
Yeah.
His favorite movies, Bull Durham, obviously Field of Dreams is a Kevin Costner movie. You a big baseball guy being out there or football?
Growing up baseball.
Look at this. He's got a Durham. This isn't Kenny, this guy, but the Durham Bulls tattoo on the bicep. Would you mind trading biceps with me, sir? I feel like I need that one.
Back home, we was wrestlers.
I really just want the skin where the tattoo is.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because Iowa, like Oklahoma State's pretty big.
Big into wrestling.
Wrestling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So is there a particular wrestler or something that stands out to you as one of your favorite?
Dan Gable, I think,
was
the
a good guy.
Was
Yeah.
Was he the coach?
He's a huge name.
And he was a medal winner for years.
They had the U.S. Olympic trials in Iowa City one time, and that was a pretty cool experience to go to.
The two themes, when I think about Omaha, the two themes I know that are in Omaha, Nebraska are the College World Series and the swimming trials. And that's it.
That's
and
Nebraska.
Yeah, well, I'm just like thinking about when you said the Olympic trials. That's and obviously because we've been to Omaha the last couple of years. That's what I was like thinking about. But I bet those wrestling trials are pretty entertaining.
Some heavyweight guys are humongous.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So
and they have some interesting looking ears.
Cauliflower ears rampant.
It's a real thing. It is a real thing. So coming out and see Kenny and talk about why Arkansas loves their pork more than Iowa, and walk around and get your pick of one of the fabulous RVs or golf carts or mowers or tractors, ATVs, side-by-sides, or four-wheelers, and then invite Kenny to take you off-roading because that's the dude to take you.
No, I saw the guy at Camper last week, and he's finishing building up his Jeep, and we're going to White Rock in a couple weeks, I guess.
See? Yeah. Fast friends.
There you go.
Quick friends.
This guy belongs on radio. That's what you got to do. You got to make friends with people when they don't even realize you're friends with them.
They don't want you
or
to be
maybe
friends with them
that's salesmanship, too.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Kenny, thanks for coming on.
Guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody here at Crabtree for having us out today. Lee J was the one who brought us out, and we enjoyed talking with Danielle and with Kenny too. All right, so do we do a prediction on this game for tomorrow?
Throw it out there.
Do we throw some? Do we have a couple of tears that come out of our eyes since this is the last you and me show, the only show we do together here, just you and me? I mean, what do we do with these last 3-4 minutes?
It's however you want to take it. I mean,
you want me to do it?
I mean, I'm still doing the.
You've taken the direction of this show for like 17 months, and now he wants me to do 4 minutes.
You're making the listeners cry. I'm still doing the show next 2 weeks with you and Matty T. I'm not completely out of the equation.
I should still cry anyways.
Yeah.
A good cry will make you feel good sometimes. We all need a good therapy couch every once in a while. Maybe this last 3 minutes can be that. Ty, tell me. No, you've already told me enough about your father. We don't need to.
Yeah.
We don't need to. But, don't worry. We do have some of our listeners who've been texting in asking, is this the last time you're ever going to hear me and Ty do the show together? And at least the next 2 weeks we will. And I assume come football season, game day and post game and hog reaction, maybe we'll get a chance to get the old FBS team together once again.
Yeah, as Kirby dubbed us, actually it was Clay, and he gave credit for Clay saying the dynamic duo as Kirby stated a couple days ago. That was kind of cool. Now he was in our original open, and now he's in our secondary open because he's just delivered some dynamite segments down at Callsville.
We've got a couple with a whole new open to come up with now anyway.
I saw somebody was worried on the text line there that we weren't going to play the generational gap thing, so here you go.
Oh, no, that stays.
Ezel, don't you worry. That generational gap button will stay. I just don't know if it gets pushed as often as it's been pushed.
Yeah, Matty T, you have too much pop culture knowledge for it to get pushed as much, man. That's on you for being too smart and too knowledgeable when it comes to those particular subjects, dude.
We'll figure out another way for you to get more
generational gap
today's on my generation. But don't worry, Tommy will do just enough of that for you.
Trust me, age is going to be a huge factor in that show. I've already got jokes written out of how I'm going to make fun of him day one when it comes to our age difference. Because again, it's another year. It's not 18 years. It's 19 years. And to me, that's a lifetime.
No, I don't know if you can view Tommy the same way you'd view me as being more immature than you.
No.
I think Tommy, as the guy who's responsible for everything going on these very stations, as the general manager of the outfit, he at least has to have a pretty serious countenance to him, and he's got to have his his crap together.
Yeah.
He can't be laughing at fart jokes like me, okay?
Yeah, and he has to come into work dressed professionally and stuff, and I'm going to be wearing like these Hawaiian shirts and jean shorts and all this crap, and he's going to be in his button-down polo and his khakis.
Well, you were wearing a Native American blanket as a jacket the other day.
He's giving that yesterday. That's just a glimpse
Your
into
Donkey
the future.
Kong fleece, as we saw it referred to.
So that's a glimpse into the future. It's going to be. I mean, I feel like Phil, we're pretty polar opposites, and we've meshed pretty well. I think me and Tommy, it's going to be funny because I'm like the go happy, go lucky, just millennial kid that's going to show up and do a show.
That's because you and me came in without egos, and there's pretty rare moments
now I have
where
an
people.
ego.
I was going to say, now that you're moving to the show with more ears on more stations. With probably more advertisers, watch the ego just inflate, and then Tommy's got to put up with your fat ego.
So I hope that doesn't. I hope there's never a point where someone like legitimately thinks that I have an ego and I've turned into a you know what. So I don't ever want to get that point in my career because that's when you've gone too far and you've fallen where you should have been.
We all have egos, just a matter of how and when you tamp that sucker down.
You don't have to have an ego to be a you know what. You can be a you know what anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
That's very true.
I'll make a career out of it, Matty T.
All right, so that's how we're gonna end the show here. So I'll make a quick prediction for tomorrow, and
Okay.
I just if you're not at 100%, if guys are going to be out there and just aren't feeling at their best, I don't have the best feeling about tomorrow. I think Arkansas loses. I think it'll be 78-70 Alabama.
Phil, I'm with you. I think Arkansas isn't going to win this game tomorrow. I'm saying 75-68. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're both wrong.
Team's got to get healthy, and I think when they're healthy, they'll be right. But they just don't have the depth to paper over guys playing at 70-75% right now. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow. All right, been a great week. Really appreciate Matty T back in the studios. All the folks here at Crabtree RV in Alma. Come out and see them over the next week. They're here through Saturday for the RV Boat and Outdoor Show. And for Matty T and for Ty, this is Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
The 2019s must go. Save up to $15,000 now at Harry Robinson's South Ford. 2019 Ford Expeditions with the all-new body style. Now $15,000 off. 2019 Ford Escapes, only $24,230. And 2019 Ford F-150 4x4s, over $10,000 off. The 2019